Greetings, Divine Nation. I am Minerva, your Aquariana Gateway Guide. Thank you for joining me today for Lesson 6. If you are new to this channel and work and you are here for the Aquariana Gateway Lessons, please see the channel playlist entitled About the Aquariana Gateway Lessons for more information about this course, or go to the website metaphysicslessons.com. Then start the Course 1, Lesson 1, as this program is designed to be taken in order. Now, let's get started. Most people do not realize and are not conscious of the great responsibility to the great creative positive light and to their fellow humans that they have. Sadly, until they step out from the shadows and consciously walk the path of self-transformation, they will travel mostly on the negative path, without much light, and under negative guidance and influence. It doesn't matter what religion you follow, they all lead you, in the final analysis, to the realization that there is one supreme creative intelligence, energy, and power constantly at work throughout the universe, working through the inner planes of consciousness and through the consciousness of humans and nature. Therefore, knowing that a person has a conscious, creative, reasoning mind, there must be a definite point of contact with both inner and outer planes of consciousness. And this is true. There is. Everything in the mineral, vegetable, and animal kingdom has their own state of consciousness and positive and negative rates of vibration. The mental action with them is in the subconscious. People have a subconscious mind and a conscious reasoning mind that makes them a conscious medium through which all the forces of light can express. The great cosmic creative intelligence, energy and light ray, must have a medium through which it can work. Human beings and nature are that medium. I like to think that this is what Genesis 1 verses 26 and 27 refer to, where it states, "Let us make people in our own image after our own likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So, Source created humans in its own image, male positive and female negative, in its own spiritual image. This also makes humans a responsible medium, responsible to their Christ self. The I Am, which is the impersonal Christ consciousness in us, is our contact with all things seen and unseen. It is our direct contact with the great creative intelligence, energy, and power, and we need only to go to this contact and there speak for the thing we need and want, using our knowledge of the spiritual, mental, and material laws to bring it into outer manifestation. This is what the big executives do, in most cases not even realizing just what they're doing. When they go into their private office and leave word that they do not wish to be disturbed, they consciously or unconsciously realize that through quiet concentration, their attention on the problem at hand, in the quiet of their private office, they draw the solution right out of thin air. The more efficient an executive is in doing this, the more valuable he or she is, and the greater the position he or she holds. Yes, these people operate on psychic intuition. Why? Because it does not lead them into wrong action. Most executives will not admit to calling it psychic intuition. They're more comfortable generally calling it animal instinct, because intuition is associated with the feminine, negative polarity, which is receptive in nature, and in our culture deemed to be less than because it is not the masculine positive. Semantics allow calling it instinct or hunch more acceptable, and do so in association with that male positive polarity principle. But make no mistake, it is intuition, plain and simple. Many times throughout this course, I will speak of the great positive light, and I hope that you understand that whatever the vibrations of the positive light predominate, there you will find the great creative intelligence, energy, and power in action. This intelligence is our intuition. Wherever you find the negative vibrations predominating, you will find the devil in action. Drop the D from devil and you have the word evil. Flip the word devil around and you have the word lived. Keep this in mind and it will not be hard for you to check your vibrations and know on which side you are working. If you find that the negative vibrations are predominating, you can know that you are wasting your precious time and you're allowing the devil to have his way with you, so to speak, and that you are being used for a tool to accomplish a less than divine purpose. At the same time, it's also keeping you from the path of the positive light where you belong. When you find many things blocking your way and trying to keep you from reviewing these classes, for example, or any other work that brings you into the light or anything that keeps you from applying what you're learning, you will know that it is the negative vibration in action. If you allow these negative forces to use you as a tool to destroy your chances of attaining your destiny in this life and cause you to make fate instead of destiny, which you must answer for in another life, if not this one, if you want to travel your path through this life the hard way by allowing the negative forces to tell you what to do instead of your traveling the path of the positive light, then that will indeed be a tragedy. If you choose the path of the positive light, you make destiny instead of fate, becoming a credit to yourself and to the forces of light by gaining wisdom and understanding to the point where you can reach a helping hand down to someone else who's struggling below you and draw him or her up to a higher consciousness and vibration. If you allow these negative forces to predominate and you do nothing about it, then, my friend, there isn't much that anyone can do to help you until you wake up to your great responsibility to the positive light, to yourself, and to your fellow humans. When you travel the path of the negative vibrations, you definitely make fate or karma. The negative force leads you, it confuses your mind on issues and causes you to misuse the spiritual laws. Now, when you misuse the spiritual laws, you create karma for yourself. This is because every spiritual law carries with it the law of cause and effect. And when you break any of nature's universal laws, somewhere, sometime, whether in this life or another, you must meet and remove it from the debit side of the ledger. When we break a spiritual law, it's entered in the debit side of the ledger of your book of life, so to speak, on the inner planes, and will stay on the debit side until you balance it. Of course, you have a credit side to that same ledger, which we don't say much about because it is the debit side that needs careful attention. People say, well, if we don't know the law, how are we supposed to live it? Why aren't we taught these things? The answer is, these laws have stood from the beginning of time and they never can and never will change. They are the immutable laws of Source, or God, the divine. They are the laws of the positive light. They do not come to people. People must come to them. And there are two schools of thought about why we don't get informed about these laws from our great religious leaders. One group says that there's no excuse for any of us. Every individual is faced at every turn with making decisions in the business world, in our private life, and we make our free will choice whether we will make destiny or fate. No one of us can crawl out of it by saying that we didn't know and that we never had a chance. Every person is born into this world free and equal in this one respect, that the great supreme intelligence, energy, and power is equal in each. And we should have an inner compass that tells us the difference between right and wrong and good and less than good. That is, each one of us has equal access to this supreme intelligence, and the same immutable laws of God stand for each of us as they have stood from the beginning of time, for us to use or to break. Ignorance is our greatest sin. The other school claims that religions garner most of their power from keeping the masses in a state of confusion and chaos. That is why, for example, the Bible requires special classes and studies to even begin to be somewhat understood. Only your minister, priest, or rabbi, etc., really understands the meaning of these passages, and you must spend a lifetime going to your place of worship and being dependent upon another person to explain them to you. This is one of the ploys used to keep houses of worship open and in business. It sounds cynical, but also sounds practical and realistic. These laws are not difficult to understand when expressed in real-world terms, and some believe they have been deliberately obscured to make it almost impossible for the average person to discern what they really mean. I leave it to you to pick whichever school of thought you resonate with, because it really doesn't matter which is true. The point is that once you do understand the rules, you have no excuse not to follow them faithfully. And with that, we end this lesson. Thank you for joining me today. Check back next week for lesson number 7. And remember to review this material throughout the coming week. It is important to review the information. Come back every week for new lessons in metaphysics and related occult studies. Go to metaphysicsLessons.com to make a donation, please, so we can build the Metaphysics Today YouTube channel and fund the GAP, the Gateway Aquariana project. If you would like a private consultation with me, please visit the metaphysicsLessons.com website, click on the Divination Studio menu link, and select your interest from the drop-down menu. Just follow the directions from there. These private consultations are not in person, but you can get more information from the website metaphysicsLessons.com. Please, if you have not already done so, like, share, and subscribe these videos. Subscribe to the channel, like and share the videos, set the bell alert so you don't miss any non-scheduled uploads. Blessings be upon you for your interest and attention. Wishing you love, light, peace, and prosperity. Minerva.